Why do you think the Krishna avatar came after the Rama avatar?
One reason, whatever regrets Rama had, he could accomplish them in Krishna avatar.
What happened after the Krishna avatar? Which avatar does it manifest into?
In Rama avataram, you don't have something called Rama Gita. In Krishna avataram, the moment he was given the mic to speak by Arjuna, 700 shlokas, one go, Bhagavad Gita done. Why should Bhagavan take avataram only in the Indian subcontinent? There could be avataras in Saudi Arabia, there could be an avatara maybe in Zambia.
Adishesha basically shows up. He's the divine serpent who carries baby Krishna to Gokul over the river. He is supposed to be a reincarnation of Lakshman, and Balaram is supposed to be a reincarnation of Adishesha. Is that true?
So if Bhagavan sleeps, he becomes the serpent couch, bed. If Bhagavan feels a bit cold, molten skin becomes Bhagavan's blanket. Since he, Adishesha, later is going to be Patanjali Bhagavan who gave us Yoga Sutras. Patanjali is Adishesha, right? Krishna. To be depictive of that we are in a jail, he was born inside a jail. So we laugh at Krishna. Krishna laughs at us. I have come to release you from this entire samsaram which is a jail, and you're mocking at me. Krishna, he was born with a bang. 32 teeth, 4 hands, Shankam Chakram, smiling.
Glistening skin.
When Devaki and Vasudeva were hunting where the child was, this child smiled from his 32 teeth. So is he a normal child? No. He is an Adbhuta Balakam.
Dushyant Shridhar is a renowned scholar and a beloved speaker known for his traditional pravachan style. A guest in top news channels, he has delivered 3,500 discourses in over 23 countries, bringing Ramayana, Mahabharata and Vedantic texts to the life with clarity and humor.
I was amazed to hear this, that Radha was 10 years older to Krishna.
Radha, the word itself means love. She was older. Old enough to understand that this is a child. See, there was one life-turning incident. In the evening hours, they went to a garden and Bhagavan became as old as her momentarily that night to give that Shringara Anubhavam. In Shastram, we believe that all men are women.
Really?
Yeah. You are a woman, but Shastram says even I am a woman.
You know, there's this beautiful love letter Rukmini wrote to Krishna. If you could take us through the story, because I find their love also very magical.
Even if it was 100 lies, I will not leave you. If you don't marry me this janma, don't think you can get rid of me. The next 100 janmas, I'll marry you.
Why did Krishna build Dwarka? The end of Dwapar Yuga is marked with the end of Krishna. So how did the Yaduvanshi clan perish?
There is a sharpam given in Mahabharata. Gandhari believed that if Krishna attempted, he could have stopped the Yuddham. She lost all her 100 children. She lost the son-in-law of the house as well. What caused Krishna's death? He said, this child you will birth will be the cause of the death of your birth.
It is said in the Bhagavad Purana that when you're dying, your last thought determines your next birth.
If you think of Putana feeding Krishna with that poisonous milk and Krishna drinking, and you die, you will never have a birth where you have to drink milk from a mother.
With a global following and years of dedicated scholarship, he bridges the timeless wisdom of Sanatan Dharma with the needs of today's seekers. His latest work, Ramayana Part 1, presents the Ramayana as a dialogue between Narada and Valmiki. We are honored to welcome him back on another episode of the Body to Being podcast, Mr. Dushyant Shridhar.
Krishna is the most exuberant form of the divine. He lived fully, loving, laughing, dancing, pranking, even waging a war. Yet, through it all, he remained unaffected. He was utterly playful one moment and totally ruthless in the next. Yet, all of this he did from a space of complete awareness without personal gain. Which is why it is said that Krishna is not just a god to be worshipped. He is a possibility to be realized. And the only way to know Krishna is through love. To me personally, the one teaching of Krishna that really stuck was the one that he gave in the battlefield. Yogastaha kuru karmani. First establish yourself in yoga and then act. If you act from a space of stillness, then every action that you do becomes beautiful. In today's Janmastami special episode, we will be understanding Krishna and the stories around Krishna through the lens of the Bhagavata Purana, which is also known as Srimad Bhagavatam. So please do watch the video till the end, share it with your friends and family, and if you haven't already, do consider subscribing. Namaskaram, Dushyantji.
Namaskaram.
So, in today's Janmashtami special, we'd like to understand interesting, fascinating, and even unexplored tales of Krishna, as mentioned in the Bhagavad Purana. But before we get there, I had a question. Let's come to the Krishna birth now. There is no Indian household, regardless of faith and religion, that doesn't know Krishna's birth story. But what I'd like to understand from you is the circumstances under which he was birthed. Very intense. You know, you have the antagonist, the Kamsa, killing the babies because of a prophecy. And then you have this beautiful baby with 32 glittering teeth, as you mentioned, body shining like a blue sapphire. Take us through the story, and why was it that he was birthed under such intense circumstances?
See, every birth or birth of any child, be it the girl or the boy, to any mother is very special. Even if you are the first child or the sixth child or the eighth child or the 100th child, it doesn't matter. So, Bhagavan wanted to achieve many purposes through Krishna Avataram. One purpose, there are multifold objectives. One, he wanted to say that, see, whenever we go past a jail, we think they are all in jail. But Shastram says, we are also in jail. They are caught in a 4 feet by 4 feet cell. We are caught in this world. They suffer and we also suffer. See, if we are sitting in a traffic, to cross a place of 2 kilometers, it takes 1 hour. So that is jail. You're seated in your car. We are in a jail. So Acharyas believe that the samsaram itself is a jail.
Okay.
But what we do is, out of sheer ignorance, we laugh at people who are in the jail. Arey, that is where Shastram says, see, if they are bound by iron shackles, you are bound by gold shackles. At the end of the day, you're bound. How does it matter if it's ferrum or aurum, whether it's iron or gold? So, in Krishna Avataram, Krishna was born in the jail premises. He was born in the jail premises. But he was born in the jail premises to release us from this bond of jail. Because, see, the thing is, let's say one of your closest relatives is caught in the fire, forest fire. My relative or your relative. You want to surely save that person. What would you do?
I would call for help, and if
Correct.
it's someone who's very close to me,
Imagine there's no signal. There are no people around.
then I would perhaps just barge in and try to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know there is fire. You know there is blazing fire. You know somebody very close to you is being hurt. You will never ever bother. You will take the risk, get inside the fire to release that person. This samsara of birth and death is like that fire. In that we are all suffering. So Bhagavan as Paramatma, as the Father to all of us, wants to protect us. The only way to protect us is if he is born amidst us and releases us. Like how you will get into fire and escape, bring a relief and release to that person. He has to be born amidst us to release us. So for
When
that,
you say release us,
liberate us, which is getting moksha. So how does he do? He has to be born. He has to be born like us, amidst us. So he was born as Krishna. To be depictive of that we are in a jail, he was born inside a jail.
Okay.
आप लोग जेल में हैं. So we laugh at Krishna. अरे ये कृष्ण जो है ना वो मथुरा जेल में पैदा हुआ. Krishna laughs at us. I have come to release you from this entire samsaram, which is a jail, and you're mocking at me. So even that birth in a jail has a great moral significance. There was an acharya called Vallabhacharya. It's called Pushti Sampradaya. Great acharya. He gave us a work called Madhurashtakam. Adharam, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram. Everything Krishna does, he says it is sweet. So he has written a commentary on Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam, which is called Subodhini. He says, Devaki and Vasudeva had one child after the other, and each of them were killed. So 6 children were killed. The 7th was declared as a miscarriage because it was an embryonic transfer to another woman who was the wife of Vasudeva called Rohini. Through her, she birthed Balarama. So this child was initially as a fetus within Devaki's garbham, and it was declared that there was a miscarriage. So as the 8th child, Krishna is born. So the Acharya asks, why should Krishna be born as the 8th child, not as the first? So he says that Bhaga iti rinam, Bhagava. जैसे कि हम बोलते हैं RBI, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, RSBI, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, एब्रीविएशन जो बोलते हैं, उसी तरह शास्त्रों में कहा गया है कि भगवान के 6 गुण होते हैं, वो प्रधान गुण हैं, वेरी प्राइमरी क्वालिटीज: ज्ञान बल, ऐश्वर्य वीर्य, शक्ति तेजस. These are the 6 gunas. Jnana bala is denoted by the akshara bha. Aishwarya virya by the akshara ga. Shakti tejas by the akshara va. So bha, ga, va denotes 3 into 2, 6 qualities. इनके पास दुर्गुण है क्या? नहीं. न नहीं को बोलते हैं ना, तो ना का रिवर्स है अन. So Bhagava plus An is Bhagavan. जैसे कि the one who has got buddhi is called Buddhiman, Dhan is called Dhanavan, Bhagava, Bhagavan. So 6 qualities he possesses. Does he possess 1, 2 or all the 6? He possesses all the 6. So he has to be born after the 6th child, because each child depicted one guna, says the Acharya Vallabhacharya. So 7th was a transition stage. So वो 6 गुण इकट्ठा होकर 7th was a transition stage. So that 7th is Balarama, and that complete maturity of the 6 gunas comes in Krishna Avataram, which is the 8th child. The other reason is, how do you realize Bhagavan? Through mantra. Mantra rakshana gudhatma karya siddhim prakashayet is a subhashitam. So you have to realize Bhagavan through the mantra. The mantram that realizes Narayana is called Ashtaksharam. Om iti vyaharet, Namaha iti paschat, Narayanayet uparishtat, Om ityekaksharam, Namaha iti dve akshare, Narayanayeti panchaksharani, says Upanishad. So Pranavam, Om is ekaksharam, 1. Namaha, 2. Narayanaya, pancha, 1 plus 2 plus 5 is 8. Ashtakshara. So he is the 8th child to denote that I am the one who owns the Ashtakshara. So he is born as a result of 8 because the 6 gunas have to mature. He is the one who owns Ashtakshara. He is the 8th child. He comes to release us from the jail, so he was born. But is he a child like Shloka or me? See, when you were born, Shloka, I don't know when you were born, where you were born. Did you have 32 teeth?
No.
No, I didn't have. So that's very uncommon, very unheard of. But when Devaki and Vasudeva were hunting where the child was, this child smiled. And with the whiteness that emanated from his 32 teeth, Dvija Chandra Chandrika Maikshita, Are, Bacha idhar hai. So is he a normal child? No. He is an Adbhuta Balakam. So Bhagavatam says, Tam Adbhutam Balakam Ambujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shankagada Yudharyudam. He is an Alaukika child, Aprakrita Sharira, something that you and I cannot fathom. So he had 32 teeth. So right from he was born with 4 hands. Chaturbhujam Shankagada Yudharyudam, says Bhagavatam, born with 4 hands. When he was born, Tamadbhutam Balakam Ambujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shankagada Yudharyudam. He was carrying all his ayuda. Small child, 2 little hands in that small chakra, small shanka, matchstick like gada. Oh, little so cute child. You just see, Ramavataram is very, very sacrosanct.
Yeah.
But he was born like any other child.
Very docile.
Very, very. There are children in houses, they're very disciplined and obedient. Krishna, he was born with a bang.
Yeah.
32 teeth, 4 hands, shankam chakram, smiling.
Glistening skin.
Yeah, and he was Pitambaram Sandrapayoda Saubhagam Kuma Vaidurya Kirita Kundala Tvisha Parishvakta Sahastrakuntalam Uddhama Kanchingada Kankanadibir Virochamanam Vasudeva Maikshata, says Bhagavatam. He was born with yellow silk, he was born with a girdle, he was born with a necklace, he was born with Kankanam, he was born with a Kiritam, he had Mahalakshmi in his chest, he had a lotus coming from his navel, seated on which was like Brahma, like a bumblebee. So everything was just magic. So Krishna Avataram is magic.
Talking about Krishna's childhood and his experiences with his enemies, the first one that comes up is Putana. So Krishna sucking the life out of Putana, but what I find unique is that he's not doing that just to kill her. He's doing that to liberate her, to lead her to salvation or moksha. And he does that a little later into the story with even the twin trees, right?
Yamalarjuna.
I find this very unique because I don't know other godly beings who may have killed their enemies only so they can get liberated. Or is that a commonality?
Or is that only unique to Krishna?
When we look at avatarams, primarily we look at the avatars of Narayana. That is the first thing that comes to our mind. An avatar's objective is multifold. I told you at the start itself, paritranaya sadhuna. See, often we are told in nice comic books that Bhagavan wanted to annihilate Kamsa, so he was born as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Bhagavan wanted to annihilate Ravana, so he was born as the son of Kaushalya and Dasharatha. Not true. The commentator Bhagavad Ramanuja and Gita Bhashyam suggests that when Bhagavan is omniscient, sarvagya, sarvavyapi, sarvashaktiman, does he have to take birth, be living for 20 years and then kill Kamsa?
Correct.
So he's got the remote control, Sankalpa Shakti.
Yeah.
Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam sa vidadhati kaman, says Upanishad. His divine will, he says this has to happen, it will happen. He doesn't have to toil like us, shed this sweat in.
Yeah.
So Bhagavan's objective is not to kill Kamsa. Bhagavan's objective is not to kill Ravana. Then why was he born as Rama? Only if he chooses to be born as Rama, he can go and accept the fruits given by Shabari. Only if he's born as Rama, he can go and embrace Hanuman. Only if he's born as Rama, he can go and play with Vibhishana and Sugriva. Only if he's born as Krishna, he can go to the hermitage of Vidura and accept the fruits. Only if he's born as Krishna, he can join hands with Gopika Stris and do. So to move with his devotees very closely, he has to be born. That he can't do remote control. So his only objective is to be amidst his devotees. This byproduct है कंस का वध, रावण का वध, ऐसे चल रहे थे, रावण का वध हो गया. He is not born. He is not some violent person whose objective is, okay, I have to kill Ravana. Operation Ravana ye thodi hai. This is not Operation Ravana. For him, it's Operation Shabari, Operation Hanuman. He has to be with his devotees. So that's his primary objective. Eventually, when he is born and he sees someone, Putana is also his child, Shloka. See, for Bhagavan, all are his children. हम सभी लोग बच्चे हैं. तो जैसे कि गोपिका स्त्रीज आर हिज चिल्ड्रन. सी इफ यू टेक परमात्मा's perspective, all are his children. We may not like certain precedents, we may not like certain premiers, we may not like, but for Bhagavan, he cannot show that disgust. He cannot say that, oh, I love only if you're an Indian, I won't like if you're a Sri Lankan. No, he has to love everyone. That is Bhagavan. Vaishamyam nair grinyam cannot be there. Partiality, I like him, oh, that skin is fair, I love him. No. He likes everybody. Kamsa is also his child. See, in certain families, parents will have 3-4 children. One will be very unruly. 3 will be very obedient. Just because one child is unruly, will that mother forsake the child? That child is also Bhagavan's. Kamsa is also Bhagavan's child. Ravana is also Bhagavan's child. But as a parent, he has to correct that child. So his vadham of Kamsa, his vadham of Ravana is only correcting his child's mistake. We have to see from that perspective. See, the Western religions have 2 opposite poles. There is God and there is Satan. Yeah. There is a devil force. In Sanatana Dharma, everything is under Bhagavan. There is no force that can match his grandeur. So for him, Kans mera bachcha hai. वो गलत कर रहा है. तो इसके लिए मैं उसे दंड दे रहा हूं. Like a mother who corrects the child. If you correct your child, how can I question you? So his primary objective is to be with his devotees. Secondary objective is to correct his child. So both of these, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, happens. Now in Putana's case, why did Bhagavan have to do that? See, he had a dilemma. This is his first annihilation in this avataram, and it's of a woman.
Yeah.
So then, people will immediately come with Twitter hashtags. Krishna is anti-woman. He doesn't like. See, when you do a crime, Shloka, I don't know, as a woman, how much you support. If you do a crime, or if you are into performing a crime, law should not see whether you're a man or a woman.
Sure.
See, how can you say, oh, you're a man, 10 years punishment. Woman, no, it's okay. If you kill, only 5 years. ये कैसा हो सकता है? In the eyes of Bhagavan, you are a woman. But that doesn't give you the right to torment people and then finally go under the garb stating that, oh, I am a woman, give me less punishment. Putana applied a virulent poison on her bosom and she went house after house feeding children and killing them. Because Kamsa said, there is a child born to kill me. जो भी child है kill कर दो. You check the birth certificate records of last 1 month. Whichever child is born, you kill. So Bhagavan thought, if you end up doing such a genocide, killing little children, then I cannot stand it. So Bhagavan's treatment of Putana was immaterial of whether you're in a man's body or a woman's body. If you torment little children, though you are also my child Putana, I will correct you. And his way of correction is giving moksham.
Ultimate. Wow.
See, now people will say,
Because people usually say that enemies rot in hell, and
correct.
that's the idea.
That's Bhagavan. See, he thinks from a mother's perspective.
Yeah.
See, even if the mother has an unruly child, she will still wish good for him. Yeah. That is a mother, right? You will never curse him. You will never kill him. That is not what a true mother does. But there'll be a counter question here. यदि पूतना को मोक्ष मिल गया ऐसा करने के बाद, ऐसे हरकत करने के बाद, तो मैं भी वध कर सकता हूं. भगवान did not give moksham to Putana being extremely impressed with her accomplishments. He thought, if I leave her more on earth, she will end up killing more people, so I will give her moksham. See, there is a certain thing. If I have got certain tickets for a movie, I see one person who's pestering me a lot. Pakdo, rakho. Now the other person will say, only if I pester will you give. No, I will give anyways. But this man, if I retain him for some more time, he will pester me more. So I wanted to get rid of him, so I gave the ticket. So the ticket was given to Putana not because he was super impressed by her killing these little children. If I leave her on earth, she is incorrigible, irreversible and irreparable. She will not mend her ways. If I leave her on earth, she will end up killing more people. Thereby I will give her moksham. So Putana moksham is a result of it. So yeah.
Even when Ram killed Ravan, did Ravan also attain to moksha?
See,
and was it with that intention?
Okay. So this is a very subtle and a very tricky question you've asked, Shloka. Moksham is that state where you are never born again.
Correct.
Nasapunara avartate, nasapunaha avartate. So you go to that state. And the general belief is you must have done a lot of good deeds, sharanagati to Bhagavan to attain that moksha. But if you look at these examples like Putana, Ravana, all these people, full of criminal records, FIRs on them. So how did they get moksha? So this is where there are two schools of thought. One is the Atma would have gotten liberated from that material body. It doesn't mean they've gone to that state of no birth. See, for example, the Atma was there in this Pancha Bhautika Shariram of Ravana, tormenting people. Yeah. Leaving this Atma in this body is going to make more people suffer. So, Atma is Sharir se jao. Wo hota hai mukti. You are giving freedom from that body. But that doesn't necessarily mean the person would have not been reborn. I'll tell you why. Because Jaya, Vijaya, the Dwarapalakas of Vaikuntha were cursed by Sanakadis. Because of your behavior, demeanor, you will be born as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, later as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and again as Sishupala and Dantavakra in different periods of time. If we believe that Ravana would have gotten moksham and gone to Vaikuntha, then he could have not been reborn as Sishupala. So this is a temporary release of the Jivatma from the body. But on the other hand, Shastram suggests that there are people who perform Bhakti Yoga or Sharanagati and through Bhagavan's grace attain moksha.
Right.
That is the state where you are never reborn.
Yeah.
So that is accorded generally by our granthas to certain people. Like for example, Jatayu Moksham, we say. Jatayu ko moksh mil gaya. Shabari Moksham. So there are certain people whom our acharyas clearly, undoubtedly say they would have got moksham. But again, there is a tricky point. To say that somebody has got moksham, I should have got moksham. See, I have to go to that world and suggest, Shloka, please connect me on phone. जटायु को मोक्ष मिल गया, वो इधर वैकुंठ पे है. वो हम वैसे नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं है कि जिन जिन लोग वैकुंठ गए थे वो उधर से कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं क्या. एक जो लोग इधर वैकुंठ के बारे में बोलते रहते हैं, मोक्ष मिलना चाहिए, मोक्ष मिलना चाहिए, हमें पता नहीं है कि surely whether we'll go to Vaikuntham or not. Those of them who speak here about Vaikuntha are not sure whether they'll go to Vaikuntham. People who have gone to Vaikuntham will never call us back and say that Vaikuntham बहुत अच्छा है, traffic नहीं है, 3-bedroom apartment है, कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे. So all this is a general belief that we all believe from our Purvacharyas that certain people would have surely gotten moksham like Jatayu, like Shabari.
But not necessarily Putana. Even though...
But the irony is, looking at her demeanor, she doesn't deserve moksha.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Shloka, who are we to suggest to Bhagavan who should get moksham? It's his prerogative. So if he chooses to give it to Putana, it's his prerogative. So we still say it's Putana moksham.
Yeah. I want to come to understanding the love and even some stories from you on Krishna and Radha's love story, basically, the Leela. It is said that Krishna and Radha's love was beyond the physical, it was beyond the sensual. A lot of bhakti poets, Ram Krishna Paramhans, have said that their love was the human longing to merge with the divine, to dissolve with the source, right? Which is why it is said that the only way to know Krishna is through love, and unless you become like Radha, you will not know Krishna. Take us through some of the fascinating stories about these two. And one thing that I read from your discourse was, and I was amazed to hear this, that Radha was 10 years older to Krishna?
A few thoughts that I have bequeathed from my acharyas through books and reading of books. One, I'm extremely fond of Radha and Krishna. That dampati attracts me a lot. You must have seen Shloka in Dakshina Bharatam, in south of India. The Mula Murti will be largely granite made, which is dark in color. Whereas in Uttara Bharatam, in many places, it is made in Makrana or white marble. And when I go to some of my friends who are from the north of India, I see that Radha and Krishna playing the flute and Radha standing, and they would have done beautiful decor.
Yeah.
I've got wonderful friends. I just stand amazed because that couple attracts me a lot. And there are very many shlokas, many songs, even in the south of India, that we sing of that couple.
Yeah.
Radha Sameta Krishna, Krishna Radha Sameta Krishna. So it's beautiful. There are very many kritis. But if we have to do an academic research, one of the primary sources of Krishna Charitram, the biography of Krishna, is Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially the 10th and the 11th canto, Dashamaskandam and Ekadashaskandam, talk about Krishna Avataram. There is not a single mention of Radha.
Yeah.
In Bhagavatam, there is no mention of
Correct.
Radha. Of course, some people suggest that there is a mention that Krishna was extremely attached to a Gopikastri. Amongst many Gopikastris, he was attached to one. And people opine that lady could be Radha. It's just a derivation or reading between the lines. There is no direct reference to Radha. But that doesn't stop us, because Vishnu Puranam and other great Purana doesn't talk about Radha. But there are some Puranas like Padma Purana, Brahma Vaivarta Purana that talk about Radha. And there is a mention in Devi Bhagavatam which says Radhanoti Sakalan Kaman Radhethi Prakirtita. She was called Radhika because she, through her presence, has the ability to take away our papas. So there are references to Radhas in certain Puranas, but not primarily in Bhagavatam and Vishnu Purana.
Yeah.
But Acharyas who came after that, like for example, their Bhagavata Saram was written in Kerala 450 years back by a great poet called Narayana Bhattatri, in 1034 verses, 100 dashakams, in a work called Sriman Narayaniyam. In 4 places he makes mention of Radha. In a work called Yadavabhyudayam of 2500 shlokas, written by Vedanta Deshika, who was a polymath, a great polyglot poet of the 13th century. In his work Yadavabhyudayam, I think in 2 or 3 places he refers to Radha. So in the 16th century we have a reference by Bhattatri. In the 13th century we have reference to Radha by Vedanta Deshika. Prior to that we had a great work in Sanskritam called Geeta Govindam. And it was written in the Purushottama Kshetram called Puri in Odisha by a great prolific poet called as Jayadeva. And he always wrote, and it was depicted through dance by his dear wife called Padmavati. So Padmavati Jayadeva were a divine couple, and in the presence of Jagannatha of Puri Kshetram, they wrote this work called Geeta Govindam, which is called Ashtapadi. And the entire work is about Krishna meeting Radha by the banks of Yamuna, and they being mediated through a Sakhi, a friend. So that is Geeta Govindam. So we have a poet dedicating an entire work to Radha and Krishna. We have references to Radha in Puranas, but Bhagavatam doesn't make a mention. So that is one thing that I have to say. Second thing, Radha The word itself means love. Radha means love. And true to that word, she had only love towards Krishna.
I think she was love, right?
She was love. She had immense love for Krishna. Whether you call that Prema Bhavam or Shringara Bhavam, she had love for Krishna. From these acharyas whom I mentioned, we gather from sources, because locally it is believed that she was born in a village called Barsana in Uttar Pradesh. And it is also believed from the local sources, hearsay, folklore, legend, and some traces of these Puranas as well, that she was older to Krishna. That's how. So I on a very lighter vein, every discussion shouldn't always be serious. On a lighter vein, I generally suggest. So Anjali and Tendulkar had their inspiration from Krishna on a lighter vein. Oh, same with Shloka.
Same with Jyoti ji.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, all our volunteers have younger husbands.
So I generally suggest on a lighter vein that they had. So it is believed that Radha was older to Krishna.
Yeah.
And
10 years apart?
Not exactly. I'm not sure the number of years.
Yeah.
She was older.
Yeah.
Old enough to understand that this is a child. See, that's the thing. So when Krishna was brought to Gokula, in Gokulam, while the naming ceremony happened by Gargacharya and all of that, it is often said that this girl of 6-7 years attended his naming ceremony. So it could have been 4 years, it could have been 6 years, it could have been 10 years. We don't have an exact number of years, but yes, she was older to him. And not their entire childhood went as lovers. They liked each other, but as friends. But it is believed that there was one life-turning incident where in the evening hours they went to a garden, and to give her that Shringara Anubhavam, Bhagavan became as old as her momentarily that night. To give that Shringara Anubhavam. See, if she is 12 years, imagine she's 12 years and he is 6 years. Imagine. It will be very tough to get that Shringara Bhavam. You will have to get it between people with same wavelength or same age. So he momentarily became that young boy. I often say a young boy with bell-bottoms pant and curly hair of the 1980s types, like the Mills and Boons. And then, that love, very pristine love, very pure love of Radha and Krishna. When you read, you will have only tears rolling down by the cheeks. Because, see, it was not about some Aadhaar card. It was not about marriage certificate. It was just pure love. We don't have any reference to a very amorous or a very sexual relationship. It was not a relationship of bhakti like, for example, a Vidura had bhakti towards Krishna. Shabari had devotion towards Rama. It was not exactly that bhakti. So it was more of lovers, if I can put it that way. Because, Hinduism doesn't shy away from Kama Shastra.
Correct.
It suggests that there's a man, there's a woman, they like each other. So Radha's relationship was that. But it does so happen that we also gather from sources that she was later married to another person whom her parents had fixed. So this relationship of Radha and Krishna did not culminate in a vivaham, and that vivaham did not last. So it didn't culminate in a vivaham at all. It was just through their thoughts that they were married. That's about Radha Krishna. But whatever little time they had as lovers, you will for a moment yearn to be that Radha.
Yeah.
You will want to be that Radha for a moment, because the way that Anubhavam happens is very, very pristine and very divine. Need not be always physical. It gathers more about emotional, I would put it, an emotional chain is what I would put it. And your question subsequently was, Shloka, if you said, what about the metaphysical state? Does it transcend the human relationship? Of course, yes. See, in Shastram, Shloka, we believe that all men are women.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So women are women. You are a woman. But Shastram says, even I am a woman. Because it suggests that all Jivatmas, whether the Jivatma is in the Shariram of Elon Musk, whether the Jivatma is in the Shariram of Ronaldo, whether the Jivatma is in the Shariram of Trump, whether the Jivatma is in the Shariram of Modi ji, whether the Sharir it is there in me or of the cameraman, all the Jivatmas at the end of the day are treated as women. Now, when I say women, now don't add. See, it's a feminine form or an energy, the Jivatma. And Bhagavan is the only male. So he's Purushottama. See, I'll give you a small instance which I'm sure your podcast viewers will love it. In Kurma Avataram, Bhagavan helped churn the lost wealth. Everything was bequeathed by the Devas and the Asuras. And finally, Mahalakshmi emerged. Lakshmim, Kshira Samudra Raja Tanayam, Shrirangadhameshwarim, Dasi Bhuta Samastadeva Vanitam, Lokaika Deepankuram, Shriman Manta Katakshalabda Vibhavat Brahmendra Gangadharam, Tvam Trailokya Kutumbinim Sarasijam, Vande Mukunda Priyam. She emerged as the daughter of the Ocean King. Father gave her a mala and said, जिसको भी तुम्हें पहनाना है तुम पहना सकती हो और जिस भी पुरुष को तुम अपने पति के रूप में स्वीकृत करना चाहती हो कर सकती हो. There were many devas, Indra, Agni, Vayu, Brahma, many of them were there. Narayana was also there. Vishnu Puranam says that she took the mala, she went, garlanded Vishnu, and she continued as a couple. While this is described in Vishnu Purana, one of the very learned acharyas, thousands of years back, asked his teacher, Sir, a woman is supposed to have some shyness, coyness. You know, it was largely practiced in those days. Women will stand and they will feel very shy. So she's Mahalakshmi. She's the epitome of such grace and compassion. Shouldn't she have the coyness? There are so many men standing around. Shouldn't she look around? She just goes and she garlands this man. What is this? To this, the teacher suggests, see, if there were other men, she would have felt the coyness. She was garlanding Narayana amidst the women. The Devas are women. Because that is why we say this Jivatma has to marry the Paramatma. Because Paramatma is male. Jivatma is female. So the belief is when Radha and Krishna are engaged, or anything that is suggestive of it, all the Rasa Krida, all of them are women. The Devas are also women. Arjuna is also a woman. So now we should not attach, no, he has a beard, he has got a mustache, he's got long hair. All this is external. That is why, in science also, I, on a lighter vein, suggest. Who determines the gender of a child in a couple? The man. Yeah. So, generally, in the yesterdays, there were some unpad, sorry to use this word, mothers-in-law who will torment the daughter-in-law. अरे तुमने बच्चा पैदा किया. अरे मैंने नहीं पैदा किया. Your son has only.
या लड़का पैदा किया.
हाँ.
Chromosome तो लड़के का है.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So see, for the woman it is XX.
Yeah.
Ideally, what should have been for the man?
XY.
Ideally, if you're XX, what should it be for the man? It should have been YY.
Yeah.
But it is XY.
Yeah.
No, though medically there are other reasons. What I'm trying to suggest is, in a woman there is a woman. In a man also there is a woman. The one who is completely man is Purushottama, is what Shastram suggests. So that's the way we look at Shastram. So in Krishna and Radha and everybody, Rukmini, he's the man.
To continue watching shorter pieces of this content, you can subscribe to Shloka Clips on YouTube. Why do you think Krishna and Radha never married?
We don't have an exact reason. See, I can vouch for something only if it is mentioned in the Puranas. Bhagavatam doesn't mention of Radha at all. Forget about their marriage. Doesn't mention of her name as well. See, I can't ascribe one reason, but if we go by the societal norms, like how we live today, like how people lived in the past, much before that, the parents had a lot of say in their children's lives. Things are changing now, but if they were young, and they were too young enough to not find a partner for themselves, the parents will find. And it was always alliances between families and villages. Yeah. One village will marry into the other and so on. So probably that could have been the reason that the parents of Radha would have gotten married. And yeah, she was older. So considering the norms in those days, it would have been very tough to even imagine such a... But see, marriage is just an institution, beautiful institution. But as a Jivatma, she was eternally married to Paramatma. That marriage is greater. Whatever we go and sign on paper, Mangalya Sutra, it's important. But the marriage of Jivatma to Paramatma is much superior.
You think Krishna loved
Radha more than he loved Rukmini and his other two wives, Satyabhama and Jambati?
See, again, I'm telling you, to even make a comparison, I should have reference to both their marriages in the Bhagavatam. We don't have a mention of Radha at all. So, in the traditional Sampradaya, in the Sampradaya Paddhati, it is always Rukmini Vivaha.
Okay.
So, even if you go to Pandarpur of Vitthal in by the banks of river Chandrabhaga in Maharashtra, it is Rakuma Bai, Rukmini Bhai. So if you go to Navadwaraka in the states of Gujarat and Rajasthan, you've got Dakur Dwarka, south of Ahmedabad. You've got this Prabhasa Tirtham, which is Viraval, Mukti Dwarka. You've got a Mula Dwarka. You've got a Sudhama Dwarka, Gomati Dwarka, Rukmini Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, Kankroli and Nath Dwar in Rajasthan. So we have a reference to Rukmini Dwarka, Rukmini Mandir in Gujarat, Rukmini Sannidhi in Pandarpur, Rukmini Sannidhi in the states of Tamil Nadu. Very many Sannidhis. We have many Sannidhis for Rukmini. So Radha in the Agama perspective is not accorded that status of Patni in a temple. See, in the houses we may have, in songs we may have, but in the Agama practice, not very. So, if you ask me whom he loved the most, I have only one answer, Rukmini.
Okay, because there's a very beautiful story of him being asked to give the divine flower, and he only gives it to Rukmini and not the other two wives.
Yeah, so that is with Parijata Harana Champu. So there are Champu Kavyams written where Narada comes with a Parijata Pushpam. Incidentally, Krishna was seated with Rukmini. Narada said, whomever you love the most, give it. Krishna had no choice, he gave it to Rukmini.
Oh, he had no choice, is it?
Choice, mane, see, he loved Rukmini, but
Yeah.
he's seated with her. He'll be politically incorrect by not giving it to her. And that is what is irked Satyabhama. And she said, I don't need the flower anymore. I need the tree. And so with Narakasura Vadham, the tree was brought from the backyard of Indra and placed in the backyard of Satyabhama. So all these are tales. See, Krishna loves everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone loves Krishna. See, there's no one who could have escaped his love. He's that divine. He's that beautiful. You know, for all nice reasons, we can make these comparisons, but he loved everyone and everyone just loved him.
You know, there's this beautiful love letter that you were telling me that Rukmini wrote to Krishna. If you could take us through the story, because I find their love also very magical and very endearing.
See, their love, we do get to see amongst our family circles, friends and relatives about blind love.
Yeah.
I've heard words like blind date and all of that. Rukmini's love for Krishna, in my humble opinion, IMHO, has been blind because she suggests Shrutva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara Shrinvatante. Krishna, I've never seen you. I don't even know how you look. But all that I know of you, that you're very handsome, you're very beautiful, this and that, is only from what I've heard. I don't know. See, some people their voices will sound extremely good on the phone, but they may just be okay to look at. Some people will be extremely good to look at. But if you move with them, their qualities will be so nasty that you wouldn't want to move with them. So she suggests, Krishna, I've heard so much about you, I've fallen in love with you upon just hearing about you. So I don't know how you'll be. So if you're asking me, Rukmini, how is your love towards me? I've never seen you. I've just fallen in love with you just by hearing about you. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatante nirvishyakarna vivaraihi haratonga tapam Rupam drisham, drishimatam, akhilartha labham tvai achyuta, avishati chittam apatrapam me. Apatrapam, I am shameless, she suggests. I am lacking shame. I am writing this letter. Don't tell me, oh, how can a woman write a love letter? Don't you have shame? I don't have shame. I am in love with you. Katva mukunda mahati kulashila rupa vidyavayo dravina bhiratmatulyam dhirapatim kulavatina vrinita kanya kale nrisimha naraloka manobhiramam katva mukunda mahati. See, I have been born into a very good family, Krishna. All my austerities and all my objective was to only marry you. O lion amongst men, Kale Nrisimha, the lion amongst men, Naraloka Manobhiramam, Purteshta Niyamavrata Deva Vipragurvarchanadi Bhiralam Bhagavan Pareshaha Aradhito Yadi Gadagrajam Aityapanim Grinhatu Mena Damagosha Sutadayoni. These are all verses that she writes. Shvobhavini Tvamajito Madahe Vidarbhan Gupta Sametya Pritana Patibhi Paritaha Tvam. Beautiful verses. What she says is 7 verses she writes.
And the first one is like, I'll chase you for 100 lives.
That is the last one. That is Shatajanma Bhisyat. Shatajanma Bhisyat. See, even if it was 100 lives, I will not leave you. If you don't marry me this Janma, don't think you can get rid of me. The next 100 Janmas, I'll marry you. So Rukmini was a very bold woman, very well spoken, very well written. Her love for Krishna was only pure, nothing but purity. And the way she drafts that letter, I had the opportunity, I've explained that 100 times. Beautiful verses. She says, how can you leave me and let me marry that man? She says, I'm married. I should be married to a lion like you, not to a stray like him.
Who's the him?
That Shishupala. Because she was engaged to Shishupala, right? So she says, Krishna, there's very little time left. You are in Dwarka, I'm in Kundinapuram, Vidarbha Desham. Tomorrow's my marriage. Come and take me. People may ask you, Krishna, isn't it wrong for you to abduct a woman who's already been engaged? Use this particular rule that Maya Rakshasena Vidhinotmaya Virya Shulkam. Amongst the approved marriages, there is one marriage where the girl likes the man likes the woman likes the man likes the woman. The woman's side may not like the man. In such rare occasions, if you can't convince the woman's side, and if the woman is completely convinced of you, with the woman's permission, you can take the woman. That's called Rakshasa Vidhi.
Rakshas Vivah?
Rakshasa Vivaha.
Okay.
So she says, Maya Rakshasena Vidhina. She gives the idea. She says, if people ask you, tell them that there's a Rakshasa Vidhi. She has agreed to marry me. Krishna, you may ask, Rukmini, I'm going to get married tomorrow. Where should I come? She says, Kuladeva Yatra. I will be going to Girija Devi's temple tomorrow. Come and take me from there. So her 7-versed poem suggests that Amma, what a audacious woman she was, what a courageous woman. She gives ideas to Krishna. She is the legal advisor to Krishna.
Help me explain the avatars first. Because we know that all of these creations come from Vishnu, whether it was Ram, whether it was Krishna. Darwin, of course, came up with this theory of evolution some 150 years ago. But in our scriptures, in our yogic texts, we have the Dash Avatara, the Dash Mahavatara, mentioned since thousands of years ago. It starts with the underwater life, Matsya, goes to Kurma, the amphibious, this goes to Varaha, which is a wild boar or a pig. It goes to Vamana, which is a dwarfed man. It goes to Parshuram, who's a full-fledged man, but I think an emotionally volatile one. It comes to the peaceful man, Rama. It comes to Krishna, who's a loving man, meditative man, Buddha, and an avatar which is yet to come, which would be the mystical man. My question to you is, why do you think the creator of Vishnu chooses to find expression in all these avatars?
There are very many questions that you've asked in one question. So there are many sub-questions. In the 4th Adhyaya of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So there is a threefold purpose. So he says, Paritranaya sadhunam. I should be able to protect the sadhus, the devotees. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. That can happen only when there is an annihilation of the demoniac forces. Thereby there is dharma samsthapanam. So this is the threefold purpose which Krishna generally states in the Bhagavad Gita. That can happen only if he takes avatars. Ajayamano bahudha vijayate, says Vedam. The one who is unborn, Ajayamano, he is the unborn one, because he is not born like you or me. We are born as a result of karma. He is born as a result of his Ichcha. So the one who is born as a result of his Ichcha, his birth is referred to as avataram. We don't call Shloka's avataram or Dushyant's avataram. So thereby, your birth and my birth is never referred to as avataram, whereas it is Bhagavan's birth which is referred to as avataram 1. Second thing, the word itself means descending, coming from the top to the bottom is called avataram. That said, Shastram says, Shloka, there are very many avatarams. You cannot even count. Even now there will be avatarams. Maybe he would have taken an avataram in Scotland, Tasmania. We don't know. So there are very many avatarams. So to restrict it to 10 has been the mercy of our Purvacharyas who have said that, well, there are so many avataras, but for our remembrance sake, we have chosen 10 for you. It's like the top 10 songs of iTunes or something like that. So that is why there is always a variation in the number of Dashavatarams. Now, if you say in certain Dashavatarams, you'll have Balarama. In certain Dashavasaras, you will have Krishna. In certain schools of philosophy, they believe Krishna took the 10 avatars. So you will have Buddha there. Buddha Sharira, says Jayadeva. So the point is, there are very many avatars. His births are only referred to as avatars because he is born as a result of his ichcha, his desire. And these avatars, which are many in number, could vary. Third very important point is, they don't have to occur in the same order. We say Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nrisimha. Now remember, to annihilate a person who was troubling Mother Earth and nature called Hiranyaksha, Bhagavan came as Varaha. Hiranyaksha's brother was Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was annihilated through an avatara called as Nrisimhavatara. So Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, the two brothers, through consecutive avatars called Varaha and Nrisimha. This Prahlada, who was protected by Bhagavan in Nrisimhavataram, his Vamsha, his grandson is called Bali Chakravarti. This Bali is the one who took part in the Kurma Avataram episode. So, if our order is Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nrisimha, Vamana, it is wrong. Because after Nrisimhavataram came Bali, and Bali took part in Kurma Avataram, and then comes Vamana Avataram. Our understanding is there are very many avatars born as a result of his ichcha. Second, these avatars, which are many in number, could vary depending on the acharyas who have chosen it for us. And very important point, they didn't occur in this order. So why am I talking about this order? You brought in this point of Darwin's theory where you said there is something which believes in the water, which sustains in the water. That is aquatic, which is Matsya. There is something that progresses to be both on land and in water, which is an amphibian, which is the tortoise, Kurma. Then it comes into the marshes, which is the Varaha. Then that becomes completely terrestrial, which is Narasimha. Then there is a very short hobbit-like person called Vamana. There is a very uncivilized, or probably, I wouldn't use the word uncivilized, a very barbaric, a very angry person like Parashurama, crude person like Parashurama. Then you proceeded to say that there is a very civilized, a very rule-following person called Rama. It seems very good on the paper. But this can be trusted only, one, if the theory is proven, and second, if the avatars have happened in that order. The avatars themselves did not happen in that order. So it would be a forceful injection of Darwin's theory into our Puranas. I agree that there are very many places where science and our religion and religious matters go hand in hand. Such places where they organically come together, we need to appreciate, we need to tell that to people. But I'm not sure if this Darwin's theory holds water, especially given the fact that there are very many avatars, and these avatars did not happen in that order.
So the underwater species Avatara, which is the Matsya Avatara, could have happened very well later into the trajectory of evolution?
It is said that Matsya Avataram happened very many times. It is not only once. In Sanatana Dharma, we believe all these processes of creation, sustenance and dissolution is all cyclic. So we don't believe in the linearity. We don't say the world was once created, protected, destroyed forever, pack up your bags. No, it's a cyclic process. So whenever the cycle has to go to the next, there has to be a deluge, a pralaya. Whenever there is a pralaya, for coming up with the creation again, Bhagavan has to protect certain species, and he comes as Matsya. The Matsya that we know from the Puranas is Ekashringi. He is said to be a unicorn fish with a single horn. to which a boat was attached, and in that boat were the Saptarishis. Samples of various flora and fauna were taken, and Bhagavan had to achieve a twofold purpose. One, to protect and take them towards the next part of creation, and to also destroy, annihilate a certain force who was bent upon taking the Vedic thoughts. So he was called Hayagrivasura or Somakasura. So he was taken away. To answer it in short, this Matsyavataram is very repetitive. So it will keep coming again and again. So it's not a one-time process.
Why do you think the Krishna avatar came after the Rama avatar?
We don't know exactly what would have been in Bhagavan's mind to have this avataram after the other. But based on the commentaries given by our Purvacharyas and their anubhavam, their experience of all these avatars, we can surely say that there are a lot of places, it's my humble thought, that Rama would have felt that he wanted to do something. Maybe that was not entirely accomplished in Rama Avataram, and he wanted a Krishna Avataram to complete that. In the Tamil language Shloka, there is a word called Kurai, and there was a saint poetess called Andal. She sang beautiful chaste verses in Tamil, and she says, Kurai undrum illada Govinda. Govinda means Krishna, because Gavam Indraha, the one who protected the cattle by lifting the mountain. So Govinda, Kurai Undrumille, she says Krishna doesn't have any regrets. So if there are two sisters in the house and then the parents introduce, oh, this girl doesn't have regrets, it means the other one has it. So if there is a Rama, if there is a Krishna, and if Andal says Krishna didn't have regrets, that means Rama would have had. What would have been those? Rama was born to a very set of illustrious parents called Kaushalya and Dasharatha. Very pampered, very loved child. But at one point in time, it was his father through Kaikeyi who said, go to the forest. So the punishment was ultimately given through his own household for no mistake of his. So probably some people believe that Rama would have thought, I should have had one set of backup parents. Jaise ki hum gaadi chalate hain na, we always have a stepney, a spare. So that is why Acharya saying Krishna Avataram, he ensured he had a spare. So Devaki and Vasudeva, then Yashoda and Nandagopa, even if he had to come back, he had another set of parents. So that's one. And Purana suggests that in Rama Avataram, he had a sister called Shanta. And Shanta was given in adoption to a king called Romapada of Angadesham. So Rama couldn't really live a life where he had the sisterly bonding and affection. So that is why in Krishna Avataram, Durga came as the child who was swapped for by Nandagopa, and she protected Krishna. So there's a sisterly love. In Rama Avataram, however said and done, we have the Tamil poet Kamban, we have Goswami Tulsidas and Ramcharitmanas, who seem to suggest that prior to marriage, Rama and Sita met. Kamban says while they were walking, Rama met Sita, and Tulsidas ji says that while they were walking in a garden, they met with each other. But Valmiki doesn't suggest so. Valmiki is Pramanam. So it is largely an arranged and an assisted marriage. So Rama would have thought, I should experience love. And he did that to a legitimate marriage called as a Rukmini Parinayam, where she wrote a love letter. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shinvatante nirvishya karana vivaraihi haratongatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartalabham tvayi achyuta avishati chittam apatrapam me katva mukunda mahati kulashi Rupa. She wrote a 7-verse poem expressing her love. And towards the end of it is where they married. So there was love, there was marriage. There was exclusively a relationship that was dedicated to Prema Bhavam, to love. And that was Radha Krishna. That is why we have the entire Ashtapadi of Jayadeva that suggests that there was love. So that is another part. Probably he regretted in Rama Avataram that there was extreme love towards Sita, but that was after marriage. So prior to marriage. There are examples given that Rama wanted to dance. There is a verse in Ayodhya Kandam that suggests that Rama was adept in dance. But We have rarely seen Rama dance, whereas in Krishna Avataram, be it on the Kalinga snake, he danced, Kaliya Nartana. And then later, through dancing with the Gopika Stris, he did a Rasa Krida. So there was always a dance. So he was into music in Rama Avataram, but we don't have any explicit examples that suggest that he was into music. Yes, there is a line in Ayodhya Kandam that suggests he was very good at music, but we have rarely heard him sing. We have never seen Rama performing a concert. In Krishna Avataram, I jovially suggest that he began with vocal classes and then shifted to instrument, where he took up to flute. So in Rama Avataram, it is said that he wanted to ride a chariot. When he was to depart Ayodhya, Sumantra drove the chariot and left him by the banks of river Ganga. In the Yuddha Kandam, when he had to fight Ravana, it was Indra's Sarathi called Mathali who became the Sarathi. So he never got to drive. You know, there are very many children who want to test and drive cars. So in Krishna Avataram, the moment he got the opportunity, he became the Sarathi to Arjuna. In Rama Avataram, it is said that he wanted to be a messenger, but he couldn't be the messenger. He sent Hanuman as the messenger to Sita. So Rama Duta is Hanuman. Whereas in Krishna Avataram, he seized the opportunity and he became the messenger of the Pandavas to the Kauravas. So he went. So he wanted to be a charioteer. Krishna Avataram accomplished it. He wanted to be a messenger. Krishna Avataram accomplished it. He wanted a set of backup parents. He got it. He wanted a sisterly love. He got it. He sang. He played the flute. He danced. And he wanted to be an acharya. At the end of the day, he wanted to be a teacher. In Rama Avataram, you don't have something called Rama Gita, but one shloka in Yuddha Kandam, Sakrideva Prapannaya Tavasmi Iti Chayachate, Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyaha Dadami Etadvratam Mama. In Krishna Avataram, the moment he was given the mic to speak by Arjuna, 700 shlokas, one go, Bhagavad Gita done. So there is, probably we don't have an explicit reason where Rama comes and says, okay, I'm going to be born as Krishna to fulfill those regrets that I've had. There's no such verse. But our acharyas opine that if there is one avatara after the other, both strong avatarams, Rama Avataram, Krishna Avataram, one Ramayana, the other Bhagavatam, there is to be a reason. And one reason that they attribute is whatever regrets Rama had, he could accomplish them in Krishna Avatar. You see, the beauty is, Shloka, we need to understand. Since you're asking about avatars, very many children ask this question. You might have come across this. Why should Bhagavan take avataram only in the Indian subcontinent? Why can't he do it in Australia? Tasmania is beautiful. Why can't he do it there? Can't it be in Fiji Islands? Can't it be in the land of the rising sun in Japan? Can't it be in Argentina? Can't it be in, well, Trump will be happy. Why can't it be in the US? So,
No, why can't it be on another galaxy?
absolutely. See, to a place, to all these countries, see, a lot of these countries that I've said,
Yeah.
both you and I have visited. So forget the galaxy. Even on Earth, why isn't he chosen America? Why isn't he chosen Germany? See, Bhagavan is geography agnostic. For him, there is nothing like Bangalore matters a lot. So it is nothing like he loves Bangalore more than Delhi. He loves Uttar Pradesh more than Tamil Nadu. He loves Asia more than America. Nothing like that. He is born everywhere. So there are many avatars he would have taken in different continents. But the point is, to even suggest that this is an avatara, you need an enlightened Maharshi. See, if I am suffering from an ailment, I go to a doctor. And the doctor will say, looking at me, my physical conditions, a blood test, and then he will say, oh, you're suffering from typhoid. So to even suggest what is wrong with my body, I need a trained medical practitioner. Similarly, to even suggest that this son born to Kaushalya and Dasharatha is actually an avatara, we need a Maharshi like Valmiki. See, without Valmiki, how would we even know that this man is an avatara?
Correct.
Rama, Prabhu Shri Ramachandra is an avatara, how would we know? We needed a Valmiki. To say that this is Krishna and this is an avatara, we needed a Vyasa. But today, we lack those Maharshis. And those Maharshis who suggested that these are avatars were largely born in the Indian subcontinent. See, avatars were there in very many places. But to suggest that this is an avatara, we needed rishis, and those maharishis were born in Indian subcontinent. That we can't help. So this is a punya bhumi that way. Yes, our roads have potholes. Yes, traffic conditions are bad. Yes, water bodies should not be polluted. Yes, Yamuna should get cleaned up. All this is a yes. I completely endorse. We need to improve. But at the end of the day, Maharshis and great acharyas were born in this land Who suggested, who told us very clearly, Shloka and Dushyanth, this is an avatara, pray to him. That is an avatara, pray to him. So avatars were there in many places, but people who identified those avatars were in this Bharatadesham.
I had one more question on the avatars, Adishesha, right? Adishesha is basically shows up. He's the divine serpent who carries baby Krishna to Gokul over the river. He is supposed to be a reincarnation of Lakshman, and Balaram is supposed to be a reincarnation of Adishesha. Is that true?
Adishesha, his original name is Ananta.
Okay.
Ananta is his original name. He's believed to be in his avatara kramam. While he took an avatara, he is believed to be the son of Kashyapa Prajapati and Kadru. So he's the first of all the snakes. So he's Ananta. Interestingly, they suggest that the place in Kashmir was infested with snakes at one point in time. And Kashyapa Vihara is Kashmira. So Kashyapa Prajapati lived in that region. Kashmira that we know is largely attributed to Kashyapa Prajapati. Kashyapa had very many children. One of them is the snake. So Ananta. Ananta is a Nag. So that's why that place is called Anant Nag. So Ananta is his name. So that is why Bhagavan reclines on Ananta. That is why it is called Thiruvananthapuram, Anantapuram, because he reclines on the snake. Interestingly, Seshatvam in Siddhantam, philosophy, means the ability to serve. So we are born to serve Bhagavan. तो वो जो तत्व है सर्व करने का जो तरीका उसको हम बोलते हैं शेषत्वम. शेषत्वम माने the act of servitude, serve करना, कैंकर्य करना. The one who serves is called Sesha. But all of us who are Seshas, we need a person who is going to be the trendsetter. So this Ananta became that trendsetter. Since he is the first Sesha, he is called Adishesha. So he is the one who told us, serve aisa karna chahiye. How does he serve? So if Bhagavan sleeps, he becomes the serpent couch, bed. If Bhagavan feels a bit cold, the molten skin, because the snake always sheds its skin. So the shedded skin, the molten skin, becomes Bhagavan's blanket. Now, if Bhagavan wishes, the devotees wish to see Bhagavan, he is dark-hued. Adishesha is white-hued, says Shastram. It's like a chessboard, white and black. I have to see Bhagavan, I need light. So from the two gem-like eyes of 1,000 hoods, so 2,000 eyes which are resplendent like gems, I get to see Bhagavan. So he's the torch. So when he puts his tongue out and puts it, that's a fan. So if Bhagavan wants to sit, he becomes the seat. If Bhagavan wishes to walk, he becomes the umbrella. And if Bhagavan wishes to walk with footwear, he bends his tail in such a way that Bhagavan can fit his legs. So he shows the world how a true Sesha should be. That is, a servant should be. So he becomes everything to Bhagavan. So Ananta is called Adishesha. Now this Adishesha, for us, we assume that Bhagavan is different and Adishesha is different. Bhagavan is different and a celestial vehicle called as Garuda is different. So Garuda is different, Adishesha are different from Bhagavan is what we think at the initial level. But when we get into Agama Shastra and our Vedas and of course subsequently the Puranas and the Itihasas, when you do a deep dive, you will know that Bhagavan is Adishesha. Bhagavan is Garuda. Why? In a mundane example, let's say my mother makes good food for me as a son. So I keep finding some fault or the other. I said, oh, इसमें थोड़ा नमक कम है, इसमें थोड़ा हल्दी ज़्यादा हो गया, इसमें थोड़ा वो it's very spicy, कुछ ना कुछ बहुत oily है, इसमें oil नहीं है, कुछ ना कुछ बोलता रहता हूँ. तो एक दिन my mother will say, you have to become your own cook. You have to do everything by yourself because you keep finding fault with others. So on a similar note, Bhagavan may have had 1,000 of reservations with the serpent couch, with the celestial bird. Each of them he would have had a problem. On a lighter vein, it is suggested by Acharyas that Bhagavan will keep finding fault with anybody who's a serpent, who's a bed to him. So Bhagavan himself became the bed, which is Adishesha, and Bhagavan himself became the vehicle called Garuda. So Garuda and Adishesha are manifestations of him. That's it. This Adishesha, with certain qualities, remains Adishesha to Bhagavan. It is believed in Treta Yuga, during the times of Rama, he became Rama's younger brother Lakshmana. And it is believed that during Krishna Avataram, he became Balarama. And it is believed in Kali Yuga, he was reborn as the Acharya called Bhagavad Ramanujacharya. So Ramanuja is believed to be an Aparavataram of Adisesha. So Adisesha, Lakshmana, Balarama, Ramanuja. So this is the belief.
Why did Krishna build Dwarka?
Politically, the reason was Krishna's maternal uncle, Matula, was Kamsa, mother's brother. Kamsa's wives were the daughters of Jarasandha. Jarasandha was the king of Magadha. Magadha is the current day Bihar. And Krishna's Mathura was around the western Uttar Pradesh. So traditionally, Jarasandha did not enjoy a great relationship with Mathura Rajyam. But he could develop an alliance by giving his daughters in marriage to Kamsa. So in those days, if you have marriages, you will become good friends. So Jarasandha was very, very barbaric, very immoral. So was his son-in-law, Kamsa. So this immoral son-in-law called Kamsa was killed by Krishna. So thereby Jarasandha's daughters became widows, and in a way Krishna was the reason. So Jarasandha wanted to invade Mathura and show Krishna his prowess. So every time he used to go with a Sainyam, a huge battalion, and used to keep attacking Mathura. So there were a lot of political disturbances in Mathura, though Krishna tried to send him away. Why? He could have killed, right? One of the commentators suggests Krishna did not want to take all the credit. He wanted to give some achievement to his own cousin called Bhima. Let Bhima ke CV mein bhi kuch hona chahiye, so I'll spare him for Bhima. So every time Jarasandha would get vanquished in the battle and he would return. And he would come back to fight. So 16, 17 times he fought. The last time he came is when he had an alliance with a foreign entity called as Kala Yavana. Yavana Shabdam means Greeks. So Yavanas are Greeks. So this Greek person was such a strong build. We say Greek god, right? Yeah. Very strong build. And he looked like the god of death. So he was called Kala Yavana. So Yavanas have found mention in Bhagavatam. Yavanas are also found mention in Vishnu Puranam. And commentators have suggested who are Pallavas, who are Yavanas, and so on. So this Kala Yavana was very strong, and he had an alliance with Jarasandha, and they attacked Mathura. Knowing that there is going to be such a attack, what Krishna did was he called Vishwakarma and constructed an island which was off the coast of Gujarat, and so that it was not easy for the army to come within. And that city was called Dwarka. So Dwarika Kshetram Prabhuta Ratnadyuti Kesaram Tat Pravalapatraugha Paritaparshvam Sthane Harerishta Tamam Tadasit Sambhuti Rajivam Iva Indirayaha is a beautiful shloka in Yadavabhyudayam that suggests that this city of Dwarka, this island, looked like a lotus from the top, it seems. Since there were coral reefs around the island, it looked like petals. And the stamens looked like high risers, sky risers, it seems. And it was so prosperous from the top, the poet suggests Dwaraka, that Mahalakshmi will mistake this city for the lotus and will come and sit on it. So it was that beautiful. So Krishna, knowing that this is going to be an attack, he constructed the city of Dwaraka. And before and during this Kala Yavana episode, he transferred, again, all this is magic that we can't fathom. In one night, he transferred all of them through Yoga Shakti to Dwaraka. So I often tell the women from Mathura, when they went to Dwaraka, the next morning, they were surprised. Beautiful houses, and all their dal bati churma had become chunda and undiyo and fafda and thepla, and they opened to ask their mouth, "Kaise hain aap?" It became khemcho. And no, that's my. Okay. So in one night, the culture changed. Yeah. You know, they had a little sugar in every dish they add in Gujarat. So in one night it changed. So the point is, Dwaraka was magic. In one night, Krishna could do that. If you ask me, explain logically, I have no answer. Puranam suggests it was magic. Ek night mein shift ho gaya. I think in one of our earlier podcasts, which went well, many of them had this question. ये मद्रासी की तरह क्यों रामा रामा बोलता रहता है, राम होना चाहिए ना? Many people say it's Govind, it's not Govinda. And they also suggest Shri Amitabh Bachchan ji's video where he said that it should be Ram and not Rama. Technically, Shloka, all these nouns that we say, Shloka, Dushyant, all these are all Sanskrita names. These are all come from Sanskrita Bhasha. In Sanskrita Bhasha, you will have to give the pronunciation of the last aksharam. For example, जैसे कि आप समझ लीजिए रा 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 रा, उसके बगल वाला अक्षर क्या है? म. तो आप जब इंडिपेंडेंटली बोलते हो, आप बोलते हो म. इंडिपेंडेंटली जब बोलते हो, बोलते हैं रा. इकट्ठा कीजिए तब वो क्यों राम बन जाता है, नॉट रामा? See, you're getting my point. When you say it independently, you say ma, a, gha, kha. But when you bring it together, Govinda. See, it's culmination of all these letters, right? It's not Govind. Because we often believe that Hindi as a bhasha is a direct derivative of Sanskritam. Not essentially. Hindi has an influence of a lot of languages of the Rajasthan state. We have Rajasthani, Marwari, Jodhpuri, and then we have a Haryanvi, we have a Punjabi, we have a Bhojpuri, we have a Maithili, we have a Awadhi, we have a Prakrita Bhasha, we have a Pali. So there will be some influences of all these languages in Hindi Bhasha. In Sanskritam, we will have to give the last akshara pronunciation. I'm sure when you end up meeting any Sanskrita Vidwan, there are many people. You can ask, it's Govinda. So Rama. But in South India, what happens is there is also a mistake that you end up adding an extra a. Instead of Rama, you say Rama. That is wrong. It's not Govinda. It is Govinda. See, neither is this pronunciation of Govinda, Rama, Krishna, Ramesha, Suresha, Baro. You know, that regional influence comes. That is wrong. Because Akarantam generally is Strilingam. Rama, Uma, Saumya, Striling. So that is wrong. The North Indian pronunciation of Ram, Govind, Krish, that is also wrong. So it's neither Ram nor Rama. It is Rama. It is neither Govind nor Govinda. It is Govind. So I had to just clear that air. Now,
I have another question here. You know, we say Kans. I heard you say Kamsa. And I want to help me understand this, because in the North, I'm a North Indian, you know, we say Sanskriti. In South India, we'll say Samskriti. What is it?
See, both are right. Rightfully, it is Sanskritam.
Okay.
It's not Sanskritam. It's Samskritam. That's how you write it. But over a period of time, you know, languages always have this give and take. Okay. They are not very rigid, stating that I will not change. Over a period of time, see, for example, we say Malayalam.
Correct. Yeah.
Samskrita Bhasha doesn't have the aksharam la. Yeah. So it's Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu. Mangalam. But in South Indian languages, you have this extra akshara called la. Even in Marathi, if I'm right, there is a la. Yeah. So in Tamil, there is a la. In Kannada, there is a la. In Malayalam, there is a la. So over a period of time, Sanskritam slowly imported that la. So today, if you say Mangala Charanam, people are okay. Technically, Sanskritam doesn't have la. So, but there's always a give and take. See, I'm not saying that the pronunciation of North or South is right or wrong. I'm nobody to decide. We are all one country.
Yeah.
But, you know, over a period of time, you know, जैसे कि हमारी brought up हुई है, बचपना, whatever, बचपन से जैसे, whatever we have been used to, that will come. So, this kamsa shabdam is the right word, kamsa. But there are certain versions, especially in the north of India, many astikas, many bhaktas do suggest it's kans in Hindi. That's fine.
Okay.
But it's kamsa.
Okay. Last segment, I want to understand the end of the Yaduvanshi clan, the end of Krishna, and the end of Dwapar Yuga, because Dwapar Yuga and the end of Dwapar Yuga is marked with the end of Krishna. So how did the Yaduvanshi clan perish?
So Krishna was born into the Vamsham of Yadu, no doubt. So they were called Yadavas. So earlier there were kings called as Nahusha, Yayati, and Yayati had children. One of them was Puru, the other one was Yadu. So Yadu Vamsham earlier had a curse that their descendants will never enjoy power. So Yaduvamshis for a very long time did not enjoy power, whereas Puruvamshis enjoyed. But Krishna saw that there is a Vamsham that is not enjoyed power. When I say enjoyed power, they have not been privileged. So I should be born in that Vamsham to do an Uddharanam, to improve their status. So he was born into Yaduvamsham. So he was a Yadava, but for the first 10 years, he grew up like a Vaishya because he was amidst Nandagopa and Yashoda. He was rearing the cows and all of that. Then he returns to his Yaduvamsham and lives like a Yadava. Then he shifts base from Mathura to Dwarka. So they continue being Yadavas. Gandhari believed that if Krishna attempted, he could have stopped the Yuddham from happening. That was her belief. She lost all her 100 children. She lost the son-in-law of the house as well. Jayadratha was also dead. So she was extremely angry with Krishna. She knew her children were at fault, but still she was very angry with Krishna. She said, see, not one son of mine has survived. Whereas Kunti, on the other hand, has lost only one son called Karna. 5 were intact. So she was extremely upset with Krishna, and there is a Shapam given in Mahabharata where she suggests that like how I saw my family perish right in front of me, you too shall see the death of your Vamsham. So after Mahabharata Yuddham, it is said 35 to 36 years after Mahabharata Yuddha was over, Krishna left Mother Earth. So if it's 3102 BCE, because we calculate our Panchangam that way, जो भी पंचांग है हम बोलते हैं कि अभी हुआ है 5300 years हुआ है 5300 to 500 years हुआ है कलियुग में. तो अभी 2025 में है. You add another 3000, so 3100. So 3102. See, I'm just giving you rough dates, okay? You have to check. 3102 BCE is where we technically believe Kali Yuga began. That's how the Panchangam is calculated. So till then it is Dwapara. So 35 to 36 years before the leaving of Krishna to Vaikuntha, because he is Narayana, he has to go back to his Loka. Yeah. Before that, before he left 3102 ke pehle, because in BCE we always go the other way calculation. So 313536 ke aspas Mahabharat Yuddha ka purti hua, because it was fought only for 18 days. So the Shapam was given by Gandhari towards the end of Mahabharata Yuddham. Then in that remaining 35 years that Krishna managed to survive, that is when he saw a lot of infighting happening amongst Yadavas. They all resorted to drinking.
All of this is because of the curse.
Curse.
But he could have easily neutralized the curse, being the divine.
See, he could have stopped the humiliation of Draupadi. He could have stopped the 6 children of his mother dying. See, Bhagavan, even if he takes an avatara, he will let things happen as is. These days a lot of parents, they say, don't keep on feeding the child. They will learn. Yeah. So he's like that. So hands-free approach. So he let things happen. There was a lot of infighting. And there was also a Shapa given to him by Gandhari. Yeah. There was a Shapam given to his son, because he had a son through a wife called Jambavati. He had a son called Shambha. Shambha is his name because he was born as a grace of Shambhu. He was called Shambha. This Shambha, remember, Krishna and Jambavati's son Shambha marries the daughter of Duryodhana.
Okay.
So Duryodhan or Krishna were Sambandhis. In south we call Sambandhis. In north, what do you say? Sambandhi. Right? They have given their children in marriage. That is why Duryodhana comes and asks for help. See, Arjuna is his cousin. Why did Duryodhana come? Sambandhi hai, mujhe bhi kuch help kar do. So Duryodhana's daughter was married to Krishna's son. This son of Krishna was not very disciplined, the Shambha. It is said in the Puranas, he ended up poking fun at Maharishis, and that is when they suggested that you too shall become an indirect way for the destruction of your clan. So the Shambha resorted to drinking, infighting. It was not all great. Just because it's Krishna's Vamsham, we should not think it all ended. Oh, the end. Bahut acha hua. Lot of problems in that family. And it is said that the arrow that was prepared from the iron particles of the mace that was thrown into the sea was what was shot by a hunter at Krishna's foot. There is a belief here that Krishna was foot was pierced with an arrow. That arrow was so strong that it pierced. What caused Krishna's death? This arrow. Who shot the hunter? Where did he get the arrow from? Material from iron. Where did this iron come from? From a mace. Where did this mace come from when it was broken to pieces? Where did the mace come from? It came from this Shambha's stomach, because Shamba tried to keep one mace and tried to tell the Rishi that I'm pregnant.
Okay.
Determine what child it is. The rishis knew that this guy was playing prank with them, and he said this child who you will birth will be the cause of the death of your Vamsha, and so that caused the death. So Gandhari Shapam, Rishi Shapam, all of this were there. Now towards the end of Krishna Avataram, when Krishna realized that there was infighting and this clan will just perish, he said eventually even Dwarka will submerge.
Okay.
So that time there was a Divyamangala Vigraha, a beautiful small Vigraha idol of Krishna with Shankha Chakram, Gada Padmam, bequeathed by him from generations, that he was worshipping, Krishna was worshipping. This idol was given by Krishna before the deluge that happened in Dwarka to his closest friend called Uddhava. He said, Uddhava, you take this very worshipped idol of Krishna. I have worshipped this. This is of Narayana. You take it to a safe place because Dwarka will get submerged. Uddhava, upon the instructions of his dear friend Krishna, carried it south. Now he needed help. That is where he asked the help of Brihaspati. Brihaspati is called Guru. And he took the help of Vayu. Vayu has to airlift it. So Vayu airlifted, Uddhava continued, Guru. So Guru and Vayu established that idol by the coast of Kerala that is called Guruvayur.
Okay, wow.
So Guruvayur idol that you see is the idol that was worshipped by Krishna and his ancestors, gifted by Krishna before the deluge of Dwarka to Uddhava, who established it with the help of Guru and Vayu. So if Krishna was born in the north, grew up in the west, ruled in the west, he settled in the south. So there's always a connection of Krishna everywhere.
Everywhere, correct.
Everywhere. He's there everywhere. We all love. So in Tamil, Krishna has a name. There's a local Tamil name called Kannan. If you've heard of it.
Yes, K-A-N-A-N. Right?
K-A-N-N-A. Kanna, Kannan.
Okay, Kanna. That's why the Tamilians say Kanna.
Kanna. Kanna is जैसे कि कान्हा बोलते हैं north में. See, you don't locally you say कान्हा, right? कान्हा. Similarly, Srinath ji, कान्हा. वैसे दक्षिण में तमिल में बोलते हैं कन्नन. So हर एक बच्चे को घर में हम बुलाते समय कन्ना वाह. Kanna, Kanna. Kanna means Krishna. So the local Tamil name for Krishna is Kannan.
My last question is that, it is said in the Bhagavad Purana that when you're dying, your last thought determines your next birth. But if you think of a story of Krishna when you're dying, then it directly leads you to moksha, or you break the cycle of life and death.
Correct. So it's called Tatkratu Nyaya in Shastram. Whatever you've been deeply engrossed and meditative about in the last minute, in the hour of death, in the second of death, you shall become that. So if you think of a deer, you become a deer. Jadabharata Charitram is an example. If there is something that's an exception to this general Tatkratu Nyayam, it's Krishna Avataram. If you think, let's say in that last minute of your dying, you're thinking of Vasudeva carrying Krishna with the fetters in his hand. When you think of fetters in his hand, you will be unfettered, which means you will get moksha.
Okay.
If you think of Putana feeding Krishna with that poisonous milk and Krishna drinking, and you die, you will never have a birth where you have to drink milk from a mother.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So, punarjanmam stanyam pibantam punarjanmam na babhuva. Shastram says that you will never have another janma. That is Krishna Avataram. See, Krishna Avataram, everything is magical. You think of whatever, you get moksha. See, he's like wholesale moksha milta hai us avatar mein. Jo bhi, jisko bhi chahiye, le lo. That's Krishna.
But, do you think the larger idea here is devotion? For example, if I think of Shiva, or it could be anything, any person that I'm devoted to, that could also lead me to liberation, na? Or is it sacrosanct ki only if I think about a Krishna story, it will lead me to breaking the cycle of life and death?
See, Mahadeva, Rudramurti, Maheshwara has been accorded immense respect and importance in Sanatana Dharma. Undoubtedly. There are Puranas exclusively talking about the greatness of Shiva, mainly Shiva Purana, Linga Purana. There are very many portions in Agni Purana and Kurma Purana also that talk about greatness of Shiva. There is a Shaiva Agama. Agama itself, they say that there are Prachina 28 Agamas that talk about Shaiva Agama. Many of them emanated from Kashmira Kshetram. Abhinava Gupta has commented a lot. Many from the southern part of Tamil Nadu, Adhinangal, they all resort to worshipping Shiva through Shaiva Agamam. Then there are Tamil works called Tirumurais, 12 in number, which talk about the greatness of Shiva, which is very old. And people who believe that the word Rudra indicates Shiva recite Rudram dedicated to Shiva from the Vedic portion. So Shiva has been mentioned in our Puranas, in the Vedas and Agamas. Undoubtedly a Devata of immense respect. But from the Vaishnava school of theology, the Acharyas have viewed Mahadeva, Shiva, Shambhu as the greatest friend and devotee of Narayana. Vaishnavanam aham Shambhuhu. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhuhu is Bhagavata Shloka, where Krishna says amongst the Vaishnavas, Vishnu devotees, yatha Shambhuhu, like how Shambhu is. Purandaradasa says, Kannada language, Dharage Dakshina Kaveri Tira Kumbhapuravasanu Neene Karadalli Veenaya Ganava Maduta Uraga Bhushananu Neene Koralalli Bhasma Rudrakshava Dharisida Parama Vaishnavanu Neene. They look at Shiva and say, you are having Rudraksha and Bhasma. You are the greatest Vishnu devotee. So he is a Vaishnava. So from the Vaishnava school of thought, Mahadeva, Rudramurti of great respect is viewed as Vishnu's devotee. Of course, in Shaiva school, he is regarded as the ultimate. So from the Vaishnava point of view, Vishnu, Narayana is the one who grants moksha. Arogyam bhaskaradicchet shriyamichet hutashanat. Ishvaraha jnanamanvichet mokshamicchet janardanat. Moksha is granted by Narayana alone. This is the belief, and to substantiate that belief, a lot of verses are used. Narayana parojyotir atma Narayana paraha. Narayana param tattva tattvam Narayana paraha. From Mahanarayana Upanishad. From some of the verses of the Upanishad itself. From some of the lines of the Vedas itself. From the commentaries of the Vedas. For example, Adi Shankaracharya, I think in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Bhashyam, when he refers to the word Paramatma, he refers to Narayana. Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's Bhashyam, Madhvacharya's Bhashyam. So, Narayana is treated as the ultimate, predominantly by very many Siddhanta Sampradaya Acharyas. So, the belief is Narayana grants moksha. But there are Shiva devotees who believe that Shivji mukti dete hain. Nothing stops them from believing, because in Sanatana Dharma there is room for that thought as well.
Dushyant Shridhar, this has been a wonderful conversation. As always, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, your presence, your articulation. So thank you so much for also hosting us in your wonderful home the second time around.
Pleasure to have you, Shloka. Such podcasts are important primarily because the thought is the quintessence of our Shastras should reach the younger generation. We should reach out to the youngsters who may not have the time to sit for a lecture. So such podcasts help solve that gap which is there between generations. And thank you for putting these questions to me and giving me an opportunity in this limited time to savor, to enjoy and relish the greatness of Bhagavan through Krishnavataram predominantly.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thanks. Namaskaram.
To all the Astikas, to the viewers, I had the opportunity, Saubhagyam, to write a book on the Ramayanam, primarily based on the Valmiki Ramayanam and the commentaries and other allied works from the other Bharatiya languages as well on the Ramayanam. I have covered the Balakandam, the Ayodhya Kandam and one part of Uttarakandam in this book called Ramayanam Volume 1. It is available across bookstores and on Amazon, and it is available in English, Hindi, Tamil and Telugu. So this book just not being verbose, it carries about 120 illustrations, of which 60 to 70 illustrations are from various sculptures and temples that are related to the Ramayana. Lot of inscription data is also given. I'm sure this will be a very enjoyable read. Please do buy and make Ramayana reading a routine in your family. Namaskar.
Namaskaram. In the coming months of November, December, January, and February, there are very many discourses of mine, both in Tamil and in English, across different cities. The details of them have been posted on all my social media handles. Nevertheless, once more, for your attention and for your sake, I would like to read out very quickly. On the 1st of November, I have a keynote address at the Western Ghats Lit Fest. And in the evening, I've got a lecture on Bhajagovindam for Mahaperiva group at Mayflower Shakti Gardens. On the 2nd of November, I'm very delighted to be performing Sangeeta Katha Nrityam with Sangeetam Vidwan Aditya Madhavan, dance by Shruti Priya Vignesh, and the topic is Bhajagovindam, where I will be speaking at Naradagana Sabha. On the 15th of November, I will be giving a lecture on the lives and the works of Alvars for Bharati Vidya Bhavan in Bangalore. On the 29th of November, there is a mega event where I will be speaking on the 6 witnesses with 4 great musicians, Surya Gayatri, Spurti Rao, Vishruti, and Swaratmika, with the dance by Smriti Sudhakar at the Music Academy. 30th of November, I will be speaking on Guru Guhananda in English, the contributions made by Mudduswami Dikshita at the Bengaluru Gayana Samaja. On the 5th of December at Hosur, Dasappa Kalyana Mantapam, I'll be talking on Bhajagovindam. On the 6th of December at Shri Yadugiri Yatiraja Matha in Malleshwaram, Bangalore on Shri Krishna Leela. On the 10th of December for Margari Mahautsavam, the topic will be Pasurapadi Ramayanam with Anahita and Apurva. 11th of December at Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Ramanuja Charitram, a Harikatha with Anahita and Apurva. On the 12th of December, it's a closed door event for the Rotary Club of Madras East. 13th of December with Kiran and Nivi, it's a Harikatha on Kulashekar Alvar Vaibhavam at RK Convention Center in Mylapore. 14th of December, Shastra Satsang Vadapalani. Being the Narayaniyam day, it's a special lecture on Narayaniyam Enum Wonder. And 15th December at Sri Shankara Vidyashramam, conducted by Karnataka and Tiruvanmayur, it will be a Harikatha with Anahita and Apurva on Attigiri Varadar Vandar. And 16th of December at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan for Kartik Fine Arts, it is Harikatha on Annamaya Charitram with Swaratmika. 17th of December at Shastra Satsang again, Vedanta Deshika Charitram Harikatha with Rangan Brothers from Melbourne. On the 18th of December at Bharat Kalachar, it's a Harikatha on Periyalvaru, Andalum with Rangan Brothers yet again at TP Road. 19th of December in the morning, Ramanuja Millennium Auditorium for Charsur Arts. We will be doing a Harikatha with Anahita and Apurva on Rama Bhaktiyum Vibhaktiyum. Followed by that, on the 19th of December at Karnataka Sangha School for Anusham Arts Academy, it will be a Harikatha on Ramanatakam of Arunachala Kavi with Swaratmika. And on the 20th of December in the morning for Parthasarathi Swami Sabha at Vidya Bharati Kalyana Mantapam, it will be a Upanyasam on Shatpadiyum, Saptapadiyum. And 20th of December evening, Naradagana Sabha, it is a beautiful Harikatha on Nari Shakti, Stri Shakti with Anahita and Apurva. 21st of December in the morning for Sharanalayam, Mahaperiyava Sharanalayam in Nanganallur, there will be a lecture on Shatpadiyum and Saptapadiyum. In the afternoon, it is an interview at the Tamil Virtual Academy Auditorium at Koturpuram on the Alvars. And then on 21st of December evening at Shoringanallur at Umadri Mahal, it will be a topic called Kamban Yenum Rama Bhaktan. The same topic, Kamban Yenum Rama Bhaktan, I will be speaking on the 22nd of December at Tirunelveli for Nellai Sangeeta Sabha. 23rd of December at Shivakasi for Vairam Meera Convention Center. On the 24th of December for Setupati School in Madurai, the same topic. And on the 30th of December, tentatively I'm to speak on the importance of Nutyat Divyadesham on the Vaikuntha Ekadashi Eve for PGP Auditorium in Singapore. On the 31st of December, it is for Tamil Isai Mandram in Georgetown. I will be speaking on Tiruppugadil Ramayanam. And coming to the month of January, on the 17th of Jan, I will be speaking on Narayaniyam in Wonder for Shanmukhananda in Mumbai. On the 18th of December, it is our grand production called Agre Pashyami at the very same premises. On 1st of February, I am to participate and speak at the Jain University Summit in Kochi. And 13th of February, it will be a special lecture for Shivaratri for Odakattur Mat, which will be organized by Ramakrishna Bhajana Sabha. On the 22nd of February, for the first time, I am going to be a part of Mayuram Bhajanotsavam in the very, very famous and very close to heart Mayavaram. So that is the program for now. I know it's too many programs. All this has been put in the form of poster. Please do participate wherever you can. Namaskar.